Joining me on the set is Jamie Smith-Mallet from our international desk. Hello to you, Jamie. What more do we know about the glacier breach behind this catastrophe?
Yeah, there was a little bit of speculation at the beginning of the catastrophe itself, and there were a number of reports suggesting, first of all, it may have been an earthquake that triggered this landslide. That was then outruled by the US Geological Survey, who said there was no earthquake in the region. Suggestions as well of possibly a glacial lake burst, a snow melt event, or even heavy rainfall leading to this. But what we have come to as a conclusion, our scientists have looked at, is that analysis of satellite imagery has shown that there was indeed this glacier rupture and had fallen some 1,300 meters from an elevation of 5,000 meters down to 3,700 meters approximately. And it pulverized. That meant it led to crushed ice and floodwater that then went further down the valley, carrying with it rocks and sediment. Now, just earlier on today, I spoke to Dr. Simon Cook, who's a glaciologist at the University of Dundee, and he was telling me how they were able to use clearer satellite imagery yesterday with less cloud cover, and they discovered something else as well about the slip.
In more recent imagery, clearer imagery, we've seen that not only did the glacier collapse, but a large chunk of bedrock beneath and to the side of that glacier also collapsed. So this is what we would term as an ice rock avalanche, a combination of ice and bedrock falling, over 1,000 meters into the valley below, becoming crushed up and generating this massive flood.
So what the other thing he was telling me as well is that the landscape itself has gone through significant upheaval. That meant there is still the risk of potential secondary avalanches, secondary landslides, but not of the same extent as the first rupture. And again, with these secondary events, there would be further sediment or rocks pushed down the valley. So like you were saying earlier, they're watching the area, monitoring the area still relatively closely during rescue and relief efforts.
Yeah, and this is a area that's very prone to natural disasters. What more can be done?
Indeed. I mean, Nepal does tragically crop up in news for natural disasters quite frequently. 2024, the excessive flash flooding from the monsoon period in that year. 2015, an earthquake which claimed some 9,000 lives. A question that is circulating online is around the impact potentially of climate change, first of all, on this triggering of the event. And most climate scientists do proceed with caution between linking one event to potentially the global warming of the planet. But it is a wider study of trends and patterns. Here is as well as what Dr. Simon Cook said earlier.
What we can say is that climate change will have made an event such as this more likely. And that's because ultimately climate warming has a destabilizing effect on these high mountain landscapes where there's lots of ice involved. So you get more snow melt, you get more glacier melt, so there's lots more meltwater kicking around, and that's going to destabilize the landscape.
And so to come back to your question there, what more can be done? Well, there are in place in Nepal better monitoring systems these days, notably to track the risk of landslides, but also to forewarn communities. There is, however, a number of international organizations saying there is still work to be done on that, like we've seen in other areas with tsunamis, the potential of effect on impacting communities. And that links other international organizations say as well to education and educating local communities what to do in the event potentially of a landslide moving to higher ground and so on and so forth. Questions as well around geoengineering, but are often quite controversial. And then finally, infrastructure and planning development in areas that are extremely vulnerable near riverbeds and places that could be at risk of further flooding. But at the moment in time, the question, of course, is around rescue and increasingly relief efforts.
Jamie, thank you so much. Jamie Smith-Mallet from our international desk.